I'm just doing a quick video on this Alternanthera reinecki mini, AR mini. Just putting it in this shoebox. It's got gravel in it. This is safety sorb gravel, and under that there's just some Miracle-Gro potting soil, and I put enough water in it just to kind of make everything damp. And there's a line of water probably about an inch or so down. I'm just putting this in here to grow it out, Emergent, and then as it gets bigger I'm going to transfer it outside and grow it in the greenhouse. But mainly this was just to see how much you get in one of these tissue cultures, just for anybody that was wondering, because it's only about 2-ish inches or so around. But the nice thing about these tissue cultures, right now I'm just peeling away all of this. This is just it's just like an agar mixture. It's got nutrients in it. This is what they grow in. It's just a medium form to grow in. But as you can see, there's like a crap load of individual plants here. So tissue culture is basically where they take a piece of a plant and then they stimulate it with hormones, and it ends up developing a ton of miniature clones off of that one little piece that they used. So it's kind of cool. It's a good way to get a lot for your money. Tissue cultures cost more. You know, they're like 10 bucks, sometimes 15 bucks or whatever. But if you look at the amount of plants you get, regarding stem plants anyway, not so much for like a Nubius and stuff like that, but you know, in mosses you don't really get much more than you normally would. But for stems it's a great deal, because I mean each one of these stems, you know, for AR mini is like what, $1.50 a piece right now. So all I'm doing is just separating them. I'm just kind of carefully pulling them apart. You could just plant them all together, but if you do, what will happen is they'll shade each other out, so you'll end up having some that don't really do very well. Let's pull those apart a little bit. The other thing to remember whenever you do get tissue cultures, if you're buying them in person, like at the pet store, make sure that they're healthy. If they've got brown on them, if they're brown or look like they got fungus on them or whatever, or if they're dying back, if you get them, don't pay full price. Like, just try to get a really good break on them, because these things are grown in a sterile environment. Like, everything is sterilized. So once they get exposed to, you know, whatever kind of fungus or whatever, or any kind of pathogens, they have a very hard time recovering. And I think that a lot of times that whenever people don't have success with these, is because the culture was already on its way out by the time they got it. Like, it was already in bad shape, it was already melting or whatever. So, you know, recovering them at that point is not easy. So it's best to try to get, you know, the healthy ones. As you can see, this looks really good. Everything is, the leaves aren't falling off, and it's hasn't like started wilting or anything like that, so it looks really good. And all I'm doing is just kind of giving them about, you know, a ½ inch or so space. Once they start growing, they'll start growing upwards, so they'll kind of straighten out, because right now they're kind of laying over. It's a little leaf. They're just kind of laying over, so it looks like they're kind of laying on each other. But the biggest thing, if you're doing it this way, where you're putting them into a dry start or growing emergent like this, is to make sure that you put them down far enough to where they can get water. Because if you don't, then they may dry out. I mean, normally it's not too big of an issue if you keep them covered, but it just depends on your setup. Some of them are a little bit more particular, and also some of the plants are more particular than others. All your plants like mosses and ferns and stuff like that are a little bit better at holding water, because their leaves are harder. Mosses have a better way of pulling the water up through themselves so they work pretty good. All right, there. So that's that. That's one tissue culture. You see, I spread it out about like 4 by 6 or so. So that's that. I'm gonna cover it. I've got, which I'm not even gonna show this right now, but I've got a lid. This is just a plastic shoebox. It's like $1 at basically Home Depot or wherever, dollar stores. I'm just gonna cut this out right here, just the inner part of this. I'm not gonna cut, like, see how that right there, those are where it snaps on, so I'm just gonna cut it around the inside of that. And then all I'm going to do is put a piece of plastic over this, like 3 mil or 4 mil plastic, clear plastic, and then just snap this on top of it. This is kind of dirty. It was outside. But yeah, that's it. And then just watch it. If it looks like, if it starts looking dry later today, in a couple hours, I'll spritz it a little bit with water. But it shouldn't be really necessary since you've already got water in here. So that's how you do it, Emergent. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. Bye.